And in our today's tutorial, we are going to be talking about databases. Okay, I have an interface here of phpMyAdmin. This is out because I have WAMP server installed on my computer. This is WAMP server version 2.2. So alright, it's offline. Let me put it online back. Put online. Once it's offline, this can't work. That's the basis. Alright, now to create a database using this interface, it's actually easy and simple. One can just come easily databases, create database. Here you type name of the database. Let's say like let's say test1 is the name of the database, and we create. Alright, database test1 has been created. We can come to test1 here, and then there are no tables in it. We can create tables like a table with users and then number of columns, let's say 3 columns, and then go. Okay, now the first column we can say username, length. Alright, the type should be variable characters. When it's integer, it means only integer values are allowed. When it's variable character, it can have integer or character. When it's text, it means it's like variable character, but the extended version of variable character. It accepts more values than variable character. Then date, these are all data types, and we have others here, but we are interested in variable characters. Let's say the length of values, maybe we have 50. That's all for this, and it's not null. Yes, so here maybe the password, also have variable character. Let's give a 50 also, and then not null. And then here let's say, or let's start from username, password, and then the first one should be the ID, which is the unique ID, and let's make it an integer. This variable character, this variable character, and then the ID should auto increment. That's the meaning of AI. And then they're all not null, or sorry, not null meaning won't take anything. So I save. Alright, this is not a number. Sorry, this is not a number. Let's see. Oh, for this, the password, let's say how many chances of password. Let's just give 50 also, and save again. Alright, this one user has been created. Now this is the table. When we go into the table, we have the ID, the username, and the password, and then they are all not null. This is just the simple concept using phpMyAdmin to create it. And now let's go ahead and do this same process using the command prompt, like sorry, you type in the command prompt cmd, and then we create a database of the same content using the command prompt. That's the terminal. So to do this, we have to get MySQL ready in the command prompt. When we say MySQL here and we type MySQL is not recognized as an internal or external command, blah blah blah, it's an error message actually, meaning that MySQL here is not recognized actually by the command. It means it doesn't exist where we want to use it. So how do we fix this? Alright, we come to the location where we have our WAMP, the MySQL, our WAMP bean, I guess, yeah, the MySQL, this, with the bean of MySQL, where we can get the .exes of MySQL stuffs here. So we copy the location here from the top, just copy, and then we go to the properties of the computer, and then advanced. Okay, so we come to environment variables here, and then we look for path. That's where we, alright, there's a path. So we make sure we are the last end of path, not the beginning but the end, because when we paste what we have somewhere here, it tends to destabilizes this, and that won't work. So we separate them with semicolon after making sure that it's the last end, and then we paste what we copied. Just paste. Alright, we have it here as a bin. We OK, and then OK. Now this place is actually not advised for to be accessed by any new user, because that's why it's advanced. When you touch anything here, when you destabilize everything here, anything here, it tends to, well, I don't need to say it, your system won't function as you want it to be. So you access this place only with the help of an administrator who is used to accessing such places. So right now, okay, we close, and then this location, I don't think we need it. Let's try again. MySQL. Alright, it's not recognized. It means we really need to like restart our services here. Restart all services, and then let's exit this first, and then restart again. Okay, our services are restarted. Once it's green here, it means it's online and active. So let's try again. MySQL. Okay, we are now back. Welcome to MySQL Monitor and all that. It tells you the version of MySQL we are using, and it tells you some details. Now for help, type help or H and all that. Now we want to create database, right? So let's try. In the default database is here, which is in localhost, and then databases. In the default database here, we have the information schema, the MySQL performance schema, test, and test1. Let's go ahead and create a test2 database containing the same number of tables here in test1, the same number of rows and columns, and we can even add contents to it. So let's first of all start by showing all the database. So show databases, we end with a semicolon, we type, and then these are the things we have, we can see actually from the database. Now we can create a new one, like create database test2, we end with a semicolon. Alright, we have an error message. Why is that? It is actually an error message because we didn't actually log in. You know, there's this privileges. There are privileges that we can have to do some things in databases. Now like this one, to check out this the privilege, we can come to users and see the number of users. You can create a user. Now we have a user as root, and there's no password. That is the default user. You can add your own here, but let's go ahead and use the default one. Adding I will do it some other time. So let's press Ctrl C and exit, and then clear the screen. Okay, we can log in again. MySQL, then a hyphen U denoting username, a space, and the default username is root, a space, a hyphen, P denoting password. We press enter, it asks us to enter password. There's no password, so we press enter again. Now when we say show databases again, go ahead, now see results we have. It's actually different from what we really had there. So now we have access to this same database we can see here. So let's put in the same command, create database test2 semicolon. Alright, it means when it shows query okay, one row affected, or some other rows affected, it means there's no error. So it means our commands were executed successfully. So when we say we show databases again, we see that we have our test2 contained in there, and we come here and we reload the databases we have. Alright, we can see test2 is there, so it actually worked. So we don't just want to create it, we want to use it. We want to like create tables, put files in it, create attributes for it and all that. So to use this particular database, because there are lots of databases, so to use this particular one, we use the keyword use test2. Now if you notice, all these keywords I use capital letters for them. That's the default rule of thumb. You can use small letters, it works, but sometimes you have to follow rules. And then alright, database changed, meaning now anything we do will be done to test2. So we can create table, let's say users, as we did before. We open a bracket, let's go to the next line to start inputting our attributes. Now ID, and then the type, the variable type is int. We know that it's not null. Actually, yes, it's not null, but there's something, it is the primary key. Yes, then it auto increments. I guess that should be it. Once we write this auto increment, it knows that it is. Once we write this auto increment, it knows that it's actually not null. So it just like once we start from 1, it goes 2, 3, 4. It increments by 1. I'll show you what I mean by that. So that's it for this. Comma separating one attribute from another. Now the next attribute is the username, and then it's not null. Since we are not using auto increment for it, we actually use not null to show the computer that it shouldn't be empty. Not null, and it's a variable character. Let's go ahead, and it's actually a rule of thumb also. When you write the attribute name, it is being followed by the type. As this ID, the type is integer. ID and username, the type is variable character, and then we specify the length. Username, let's go ahead now in this one to put 100, and then not null. Yeah, it will work, but let's follow a single pattern. Alright, last one is password. It's also variable character. Let's make it a 50, and then it's not null. we end it. We end the bracket we started here, and then with a semicolon. When we press enter, all right, query okay, 0 rows affected. Now we can go ahead and check, like describe the table users. Now this is the table users. We have a field ID. We have the fields ID, username, and password. These are the types. Integer, the default is 11. That's why you didn't see or specify any number here. You can, if you want to like put more of it, you can specify. Variable character 100, variable character 50, null, no to all, so it means they are all not null. And ID is the primary key, and the ID also auto increments exactly. So but when we say we can still use another keyword, not describe. It has the same effect, like explain users. It has the same effect with this, but when in advanced database management, there are slight differences to this. So we want to actually see the contents. Now for this one, when we go to test one, as the one we created, and we click on users, we can see that there's nothing. It just shows us the actual things we have. And when we say okay, we want to like see, all right, how many users are there, how can we actually insert things. You see, we have the insert here. When you insert, it shows you, all right, in the ID it starts from 1, something like that. You should put number of users, like let's see, maybe user, I can say Kiwix, and then password, maybe let's say member, and then no MD5 here. There's some advanced features. When we say go, let's see what we have. All right, we have inserted some things here, and then when we come back to our databases, test one, then we come back to users here, we can see that we have, all right, we have 1 as the ID. I don't know what version this page might looks jacked up. It's actually not organized, but well, we can go with that. 1 as the ID, username as Kiwix, then password as member. All right, this is for this. So now when we say, let's try viewing it from here, like use test one. All right, database changed. Now to show those Kiwix and member as username and password respectively, we can say show, we can say select star denotes all from test one, from users, meaning the name of the table, and then we have ID as 1, username Kiwix, password member. Okay, we can go ahead and use the new table we built, which is test2. Use test2, and then after using test2, we can say we want to add values to the table we built, which is the users table. So how do we do? We insert is another keyword. So insert into, insert goes along with into. Insert into, and the name of the table, the name of the table is users. Then we indicate which column we want to insert something into. We know that we have the username column, and then we have the password column here. So I want to insert into users the columns username and password, the values. Now here we add the values, the things we really want to add in those databases. So the values, the user, let's go ahead and add another Kiwix as user, using cards. As you can see, I'm putting quotation marks, single quotation marks here, which denotes that this is actually the value we want to add. So password, let's go ahead and put member again. Oh. Okay, so we end it, we end with a semicolon and then enter. All right, query okay, one row affected. So when we say select, where's my select? Select all from users here and end with a semicolon, we can see that we have Kiwix and member, and actually it is from test 2. And what else do you need to know about databases? Let's go ahead and control C this, exit. Let's clear the screen. All right, and then let's log in again, and then we show databases. These are databases we have. All right, select this. Let's go ahead and add more values to test 2. Use test 2 as usual. All right, now insert into users, and we have username, password, the values, let's see, maybe another Kiwix, and then separate with comma, just like arrays. Another Kiwix, and let's see, just another member as the password. Perfect. Oh, no quotation mark here. Okay, and the semicolon, and then it's done. So when we say select all from users, we can see that we have Kiwix, the member as password, and then another Kiwix, just another member as the second password. And this is where the auto increment works. We have 1, 2. We didn't really specify that. All right, in this field, in the ID field here, put 1. Next ID field, put 2. We didn't. Now this is where the auto increment feature works. So if we really want to like view just this second one, we can say okay, select all from users. Now we put our condition, where is a keyword, where, let's say, ID is equal to 2. Okay, now we are just viewing this. You see, one has been chopped off. We specified this command just to the ID where there's 2. I didn't mean there were more IDs. It would have been like, all right, I didn't mean there were more IDs 2. It would have brought out all the IDs 2. But since we have ID plus 2 and we have only one ID, in this situation we can have only one row with the ID 2. It means it will bring out 1. When we use the same command for this and we say where ID is 1, we can see that we are bringing out just the first one here. Okay, now this is the same concept people use in like adding some particular things to just particular stuffs in the database, or deleting a particular record in a database. You can put a condition where something is equal to something. Now it mustn't even really be ID. I can say where username is equal to Kiwix. Sorry, forgotten that I was using this. It has to be with yes. Alright, where username is equal to Kiwix. You see, it brings out the same output with this, because you can use an attribute here with its property. If I like insert into this, maybe Kiwix again, and then the password is just another member, and it works, and then I come back with my condition where username is equal to Kiwix. You can see we have two usernames as Kiwix, so it brings out all that contains Kiwix. I believe that this that I have done is rich enough for one to understand some basic concepts of databases. What we should really understand is that when you want to show particular things in, or when you want to show the contents in a table, you use the select or select something. Now from here I can say maybe select maybe username. See, it's not all, but just username column, username from, let's say, users. So it brings out all the usernames, Kiwix, another Kiwix, and then Kiwix. So you can put on all the attributes and conditions you want. So when you want to select something, when you want to show just the contents of a table, you use the select query. Also, when you want to put conditions, you use the where something equals something. And remember, when you're writing the attribute in terms of you're using like this, username equals something, the username wouldn't be in quotes, but the specific value you want should be in quotes. Just as you see, we didn't put anything here and we had an error, a no column Kiwix in where clause, because without this it is assumed that it is also a column. So we use where when we want to insert something or add values. We use the insert into. There's also the delete, or let's use the drop. When you drop something in databases, it means you are deleting that thing. You also use conditions, you also use that, and there's also delete. But the drop is, I'm not advising learners to use drop, because you can easily drop your whole database and your work done will be equal to not 0 but even